Why did you take the decision to pile the bodies on top of each other in a freezer?
What do you mean?
Why did you do that?
Well, I only had one deep freezer. I mean, take the decision to pile the bodies on top of each other. Where was she gonna go?
How did you conceivably sleep at night?
I slept well. Go, after what happened with Stephen. After I killed Son, do you really think I was about to turn myself in because of her? Hell no. No. No.
And you feel no remorse for that?
I would kill him again.
In Detroit's East Side, a white freezer stood in the corner of a living room for 2 years. Inside, the frozen bodies of 2 children lay wrapped in plastic and blankets, while their mother continued living in the house with their surviving siblings. This is the story of Mitchell Blair, and a horror that went unnoticed in plain sight. On March 24th, 2015, court bailiffs arrived at a modest apartment for what seemed like a routine eviction. What they discovered would shake the city of Detroit to its core. Inside that white freezer were the bodies of 9-year-old Stephen Berry and 13-year-old Stoney Blair, killed by their own mother. For 35-year-old Mitchell Blair, the murders weren't acts of evil, but of protection. She claimed her children were demons who had sexually abused their younger brother. Allegations that investigators would never find evidence to support. The truth that emerged was far more disturbing. Over 2 weeks in August 2012, Blair systematically tortured her son, Stephen. She forced him to drink Windex, poured scalding water over his body, wrapped a belt around his neck and lifted him off the ground. When he finally died, she simply wrapped him in a blanket and placed him in the freezer. 9 months later, she turned on 13-year-old Stoney. Unlike her brother's death, which Blair called an accident, she admitted to intentionally killing her daughter. After weeks of starvation and beatings, Stoney's body joined her brother's in the freezer. But perhaps most chilling was what happened next. Nothing. Life in the Blair household continued. The surviving children, 17-year-old Gabby and her 8-year-old brother, walked past that freezer every day. They ate meals, watched television, and lived their lives knowing their siblings' bodies lay frozen just feet away. As Gabby would later reveal, "I was afraid to even walk by the freezer. Every time I came downstairs to eat breakfast or to play a video game, I had to walk right past it. But there was nowhere else my mom could hide the bodies. They were cooped up in a freezer like meat." No one in the neighborhood questioned the children's disappearance. Blair had pulled them all from school years before. When asked, she always had an excuse ready. The system designed to protect these children had failed them long before they ended up in that freezer. In June 2015, Mitchell Blair stood before a judge and pleaded guilty to murder. She showed no remorse. "I don't feel no remorse for the death of them demons," she declared. "I would kill them again." Today, Blair serves a life sentence without possibility of parole. Her surviving children have begun the long journey of healing, but the shadow of that white freezer and what it contained will forever haunt them. As Gabby Blair put it, "My mom was a ticking time bomb. She always had her fuse lit, so anything, the slightest tap, would set her off. I'm happy I was able to make it out alive. What drives a mother to turn against her own flesh and blood?" In Byron, Wyoming, where neighbors know each other's morning routines and violent crime is as foreign as palm trees, this question now haunts every resident. The clock read 1:30 p.m. on Monday, February 10th, when the dispatcher received a call that would forever change their quiet community. On the other end was Trell Harshman, a mother of 4, speaking with an unsettling calmness that sent chills down the spine. "My daughters have been shot," she said matter-of-factly. 2 are upstairs in their cribs, 2 downstairs in their shared bedroom. Then came the words that made time stand still. "When you arrive, I'll be in my upstairs bedroom. I'm going to take my life as well," the dispatcher pleaded, desperately trying to keep her on the line. But Trella's response was a haunting refrain. "It's too late. It's too late. It's too late." Then silence. Minutes later, law enforcement arrived at a scene that defied comprehension. 4 little girls, ages 9, 7, and 2-year-old twins, all with gunshot wounds to the head. Their mother lay nearby, Her own gunshot, self-inflicted but not yet fatal. 2 children were pronounced dead instantly, 1 twin following shortly after. But amid this darkness, a flicker of hope emerged. 7-year-old Olivia, though grievously wounded with a severe traumatic brain injury, clung to life. As medical helicopters rushed her to Primary Children's Hospital in Salt Lake City, an entire community held its breath. The tragedy seemed impossible to reconcile with Trell's reputation. Friends knew her as their rock, a constant presence in their lives. Online, she was celebrated as an incredible mother who raised her daughters to be authentic, loving, and respectful. But something had changed. Something had snapped, leading to an act that would shake this tight-knit community to its core. Dr. Daniel, a psychiatric expert, explains this rare phenomenon called filicide, when a parent kills their child. Sometimes, he notes, the children are so enmeshed with the mother that she feels they are an extension of herself. If she's going to leave this world, she cannot leave them without her. Now, as Olivia fights for her life, the community grapples with unanswered questions. Were there warning signs? Could anyone have stopped this? The investigation continues, looking into everything from social media posts to phone records, searching for clues that might explain the inexplicable. Behind the closed doors of that Byron home, a mother's love had twisted into something unrecognizable. In its wake, 3 children dead, 1 fighting through trauma that experts say could affect her for years, and a community learning that sometimes the deepest darkness can hide behind the brightest smiles. As Byron residents rally around Olivia, creating a GoFundMe for her medical care and her sister's funeral, they're left to ponder a chilling truth. In a town where everyone knows their neighbors, sometimes they don't know them at all. Faith can save a soul, but what happens when that same faith drowns it? The rain fell over Brooklyn that February afternoon as a mother prepared what she believed would be her daughter's salvation. Inside apartment 3B, while her 6-year-old daughter watched with innocent trust, she filled the bathtub and recited prayers. Neither of them knew these would be the child's final moments alive. The neighbors heard nothing. No screams, no struggles. Behind closed doors, a child's life slipped away in silence, extinguished by the hands that once cradled her. The quiet would later haunt them more than any scream could have. First responders found Carla Espinal, 26, sitting in eerie serenity, water dripping from her clothes onto religious pamphlets scattered across the floor.
I was baptizing her.
She explained with chilling calm.
She needed to be clean.
In the bathroom lay her daughter, lifeless after 20 minutes underwater, her burst blood vessels telling the story of a desperate fight for air. While his daughter's life ebbed away, the father sent a text that captured a parent's worst nightmare.
I'm going crazy. I'm here until God gives a miracle. I don't know what to do.
But there would be no miracle that day. Only the cold reality of a child's trust, betrayed by religious delusion. In the courtroom, Carla stood emotionless as she pleaded not guilty to felony assault and reckless endangerment. The evidence made even hardened prosecutors flinch. 20 minutes underwater, a baptism transformed into an execution. The judge ordered her held without bail and placed on suicide watch, her mind now to be dissected by psychiatrists, searching for answers to an incomprehensible act. The apartment became a shrine to shattered innocence. A child's drawings still clung to the refrigerator. A stuffed unicorn waited on an unmade bed. And religious icons stared down with hollow eyes at the scene of unthinkable sacrifice. Now, as the investigation continues and an autopsy promises more details, one question haunts Brooklyn's streets. How does a mother's love transform into such darkness? Sometimes, it seems, the most dangerous demons come disguised as salvation itself, and the most devastating acts are committed in the name of love.